Okay, everybody ready? Just as much as I am, huh? Here we go. First off, I'd like to welcome everyone to our mayor and council meeting here on February the 12th, 2024. I'm Mayor Pro Tem William Morthland. I'd like to inform everyone that Mayor Kurt Wilson fell ill at the last minute and sends his apologies for tonight. But we are in very capable hands with the folks that are up here, and bear with me as we get through this. Okay, I'd like to recognize the council members that are present tonight. And I'll just go straight down the list here. Councilmember Sarah Beeson, Councilmember Christine Hall, Councilmember Lee Hills, Councilmember David Johnson, and Councilmember Alan Sells. Very good. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to City Administrator Randy Knighton for review of tonight's protocol.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem Morthland, and good evening, everyone. In accordance with Section Chapter 3.70 of the City Code, the City Council shall hold regular public meetings. The purpose of City Council meetings are for the public to participate and be informed on items which constitute formal decisions by the elected body. These items are listed on the published agenda, which can be accessed via the city website prior to the meeting. This is a public meeting, and some items do require a formal public hearing. A significant and important component of city council meetings are to hear directly from residents on these items. Public comments or questions are essential for mayor and council to incorporate as they contemplate each decision. Residents are at the top of the organizational chart, and therefore it is important for mayor and council to hear from residents in these meetings. If you would like to speak on an item, we ask that you fill out a comment card, which are located at the back of the room, in order to ensure an accurate record of the meeting. We ask, of course, that everyone observe the principles of mutual respect and display the appropriate demeanor during the meeting this evening, which should be and is reflective of this great community. The mayor is the presiding officer. In this case, the mayor pro tem will be the presiding officer for this meeting this evening and will ensure the orderly exchange of comments, questions, and discussion leading to decisions by the elected body. We encourage everyone in attendance and the viewing audience to visit the city website for meetings, events, and departmental information. We also encourage everyone to review and participate in the various activities offered in the city of Roswell, and visit roswell365.com for a calendar of events. There are a number of events scheduled upcoming in the city, which will be discussed shortly, along with other announcements, which all promote community, physical activity, and leisure as we all make Roswell the #1 family community in America. Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
All right, excellent. At this time, I would like to ask City Administrator Randy Knighton to lead us in the invocation and moment of silence.
Would you all join with me in a moment of silence and the invocation? Most gracious and all-wise God, we are thankful to be in your presence this evening. You are such an awesome God that the scripture reflects on your power and majesty, that you walk upon the wings of the wind and you make the clouds even your chariot. And although you have such great power, you are ever present with us. Thank you for the love that you express to us each and every day. Thank you for the blessings that you bestow upon us. Thank you for your good and perfect gifts which you provide to us. We pray, dear God, that we remain in your great favor, and we ask your blessings upon this city. We ask you to bless and endow our elected officials with wisdom and understanding as they make decisions this evening. We ask your blessing upon this leadership, and we ask your blessing upon our mayor in his absence this evening. Please bless him and his family, and we pray your covering upon them. We ask you, dear God, to bless each and every one present this evening. We thank you for the wonderful blessing of the swearing in of firefighters. We pray your blessing upon our public safety officials, and we pray your protection. We pray, dear God, that everyone here will be blessed by these proceedings and that we will be better as a community when we leave. We thank you, dear God, for your blessing upon Roswell. We pray that in our service that we exemplify the words of the prophet Micah, to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. We thank you, dear Lord. We ask your continued presence with us. And we pray in the name of my Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
At this time, I would like to make a special announcement that I forgot to state earlier, and that is Mayor Kurt Wilson's absence is forgiven. He has an excused absence tonight. Next up, we have the Pledge of Allegiance provided to us by Deputy Fire Marshal Chris Archer. Chris, would you come forward to lead the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Deputy Fire Chief Chris Archer, have you stay up here as I'll ask the council to come down for the first item of the mayor's report, which is the proclamation for the esteemed veteran of Roswell. Everybody have a seat. Proclamation. Office of the Mayor, presented by Mayor Pro Tem, your favorite Mayor Pro Tem tonight. Sergeant E5 Christopher Archer, esteemed veteran. Whereas the city of Roswell recognizes and honors the selfless service and sacrifices of our esteemed veterans, whose dedication and duty to exemplifies the highest ideals of patriotism and valor. Whereas Sergeant E5 Christopher Archer has demonstrated exceptional courage, commitment, and leadership throughout his distinguished military career, embodying the finest traditions of the United States Armed Forces. And whereas Sergeant Archer, enlisted in 2001, embarked on a journey of service that led him through the rigorous training at Fort Benning, Georgia, including basic training, infantry training, airborne school, where he honored and honed his skills and prepared for the challenges ahead. Whereas from 2003 to 2004, Sergeant Archer served with the 102nd MI Long-Range Surveillance Team in Camp Ovi, Korea, and Merrill's Marauders in Camp Merrill, Georgia, where he demonstrated exceptional leadership as a team leader. Whereas Sergeant Archer's continued commitment to service as he continued and joined the Georgia National Guard in 2006, exemplifying dedication and readiness to serve his community and nation in times of need. And whereas Sergeant Archer's deployment to Afghanistan from 2009 to 2010 with the 2-121st Infantry, 48th Brigade, further showcased his bravery and dedication as he worked alongside Afghan police, U.S. Army, and Norwegian Armed Forces, participating in combat operations, and serving as a vital member of the International Police Mentor Team. Whereas Sergeant Archer's exemplary service has recognized his numerous awards in communications and commendations, including the NATO Afghan Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal, and Combat Infantry Badge, among others, highlighting his outstanding contributions and dedication to duty. Therefore, I, William Morthland, Mayor Pro Tem on behalf of Kurt M. Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, do hereby name Sergeant E5 Christopher Archer, an esteemed veteran of Roswell, and call upon all our citizens to recognize his outstanding service to our country and our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who serve in the armed forces. All right, good stuff.
Really don't want me to talk. Yeah. No, I'm excited to be here. I'm happy to come from one brotherhood to another over here, so that's really all I have for you.
Outstanding, Mike. Congratulations.
They're all sick.
Everyone.
We are your family.
Can we stay down here for three?
Let's see what's next. All right. Come on back, guys. Up next, under the mayor's report, is the swearing in of new staff and newly promoted staff in the Roswell Fire Department. I'll ask Deputy Fire Chief Troche to come forward.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. A lot of energy in the room tonight, a lot of positive energy in the room tonight. We're here for a great celebration. So good evening. I am Pavel Troche, Deputy Chief for the Roswell Fire Department. I'm honored to represent the men and women of the Roswell Fire Department tonight. I'd like to begin by thanking the mayor, council, and community. Without your support, we wouldn't be here tonight. Tonight marks a significant milestone for our department and the city of Roswell as we formally induct 13 exceptional individuals into our organization. This occasion is not merely a point of pride for these dedicated professionals, it is a cause for celebration for our entire community. Allow me to introduce our inaugural full-time firefighters. First, we welcome Adam Alexander. Adam Alexander, Firefighter Alexander, is from Ackworth, Georgia, has been in the fire service for 5 years. He's certified in airport rescue firefighting and has even served as a firefighter in Antarctica under the United States Antarctic Program, where he was awarded the prestigious Antarctic Service Medal. Firefighter Alexander holds a bachelor's degree in history. He enjoys woodworking, leatherworking, and trips to the mountains when he is not at work. Next, we have Bradley Outlet. Firefighter Outlet has been in the fire service for 15 years. He has served at the Woodstock Fire Department, the Williston Fire Department, and also with the National Park Service in Yellowstone National Park. Firefighter Outlet has several certifications, including Chief Fire Officer, Fire Service Chief Executive Officer, and Hazardous Material Specialist. Firefighter Outlet also holds a bachelor's degree in fire service administration. When he is not at work, he enjoys spending time with his family, playing pickleball and woodworking. Next, we welcome Tony Botts. Firefighter Tony Botts has been with the Roswell Fire Department for 19 years. He began as a volunteer firefighter for the Paulding County Fire Department, then served as a fire apparatus operator at the Alpharetta Fire Department. Firefighter Botts is a Firefighter 2, EMT Intermediate, hazmat material technician, and an incident safety officer. He also received the Medical Lifesave Award in 2021. Firefighter Botts enjoys being outdoors, hunting, and fishing when he is not at work. Next, we have Keith Dykes. Firefighter Dykes has over 16 years in the fire service, previously serving with Cherokee County Fire and Emergency Services, Clayton County Fire Department, and Smyrna Fire Department. He is a certified paramedic, fire inspector, and hazardous material technician. Firefighter Dykes has a bachelor's degree of science in history and education and enjoys spending time with his wife and 3 children when he is not at work. He is also a Georgia Bulldogs fan. Next, we welcome Stephen Estes. Firefighter Estes has over 26 years in the fire service, previously serving with Dawson County Emergency Services, Lumpkin County Emergency Service, DeKalb County Fire Rescue, and Tate Fire and Rescue. Firefighter Estes is certified in swiftwater rescue and vehicle extrication and holds a bachelor's in fire science and administration from Columbia Southern University. When Firefighter Estes is not at work, he enjoys spending time with his family, hunting, and fishing. Next, we have Nicholas Impellizzeri. Firefighter Impellizzeri is a firefighter paramedic who previously served with Dawson County Emergency Services, Grady EMS, and Douglas County Fire Department. He has an associate's degree in fire science from Chattahoochee Technical College. He is a certified hazmat operations, trench, and rope rescue fire officer 1 and is a structural fire control instructor. When he is not at work, he enjoys hiking and spending time with his family. Next, we welcome Garrett Maxedon. Firefighter Maxedon has been in the fire service for 10 years and comes to us from Cobb County Fire and Emergency Services. Garrett's skill set extends beyond the conventional scope of firefighting and medical response, drawing on valuable experience as a platoon communication non-commissioned officer in the United States Marine Corps, where he mastered long and short distance communications and intelligence gathering. When not at work, he enjoys weightlifting and spending time with his family when he's not at work. Next, we have Tim Pastore. Firefighter Pastore has been with the Roswell Fire Department for 18 years, joined during the department's transition from volunteer to part-time. He has also worked for Dawson County Emergency Services and Rural Metro Ambulance in North Fulton County. Firefighter Pastore has received recognition as Employee of the Year, 2 CARES Awards for cardiac resuscitation, and a Life-Saving Valor Award for actions taken during a motor vehicle collision that involved the fire truck he was riding on. He enjoys traveling with his wife and kids when he is not at work. Next, we welcome Nathan Ricketts. Firefighter Ricketts is a second-generation firefighter. Firefighter Ricketts has been in the fire service for 5 years, serving with Cobb County Fire and Emergency Services. He received 2 SAVE Awards and played an essential role in the fire behavior work group and the ignition team, helping teach new Cobb County recruits. Firefighter Ricketts enjoys spending time with his family and being outdoors when he is off duty. Emmanuel Rios. Firefighter Rios has been in the fire service for 3 years and previously served as a sergeant for Rockdale County Fire Rescue. Firefighter Rios is a certified fire officer, fire instructor, technical rescue technician, and public safety diver. He enjoys golfing and going to the gym when he is not at work. Next, we welcome David Max Rogers. Firefighter Rogers has been in the fire service for 7 years and previously served at the Cobb County Fire and Rescue as a master firefighter. His certifications include Fire Instructor 1 and Fire Officer 1. Firefighter Rogers previously served as an advanced EMT with Rural Metro in North Fulton, beginning 2012. Firefighter Rogers is the son of Battalion Chief David Buck Rogers, who joins us tonight. Buck. When he is not at work, Firefighter Rogers enjoys hunting, fishing, working on his Jeep, and spending time with his family. Christopher Smith. Firefighter Smith has been in the fire service for 6 years, previously serving as a lieutenant in Rockdale County. Firefighter Smith is a certified technical rescue, is a swiftwater technician, is passionate about training new firefighters, and plans to go to school for paramedicine. Beyond his professional commitments, he is a talented singer and a skilled cook and played professional football in Germany. He also enjoys spending time with his fiancée and daughter. We have a very unique bunch, would you agree? Robert Major. Robert Major is our newest fire and life safety plan examiner and has been in the fire service for 30 years. He previously served as a firefighter, fire inspector, and fire and life safety plan reviewer in Forsyth County. He also mentored youth as a fire explorer advisor for Dawson County Fire and Emergency Services for 7 years. When Robert is not working, he enjoys spending time with his family, friends, fishing, and cheering on the Georgia Bulldogs. So in a moment, we will invite the immediate family members to join us in the front for the official pinning ceremony. As we pin these badges on our newest firefighters today, we are not merely attaching an insignia, we are entrusting them with a legacy of responsibility and leadership. So please, make your way up to the front as we affirm these professionals' readiness to uphold the highest standards of the Roswell Fire Department and the fire service, to contribute to our vision of being a world-class public safety organization and make the city of Roswell the #1 family community in America. So family, please join and pin the firefighters.
right. Okay, everybody ready? All right. First off, on behalf of Mayor and Council, thank you so much for coming and being part of the Roswell Fire Department, giving us your service, your dedication. This is only going to continue to help our fire department year over year over year, continue to get better and better and better as we transition into a fully full-time fire department. On behalf of a grateful community, thank you so much. Okay. So we're going to raise our right hand and repeat after me. I state. There we go. Do solemnly swear that I will support and protect the Constitution of the United States and the state of Georgia, and that I will bear true faith, loyalty, and allegiance to the same, that I am entitled to hold office under the Constitution and the laws of the state of Georgia and the charter of the city of Roswell, and that I will faithfully perform all of the duties of the position of in the city of Roswell, upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the announcement of the new liaison roles for City Council. And we are just going to roll through this. So David Johnson this year has been appointed to the Transportation Commission. Transportation Department, excuse me, Commission. Christine, sorry guys, Transportation Department. Christine Hall is going to be taking Finance, staying with the Finance. Lee Hills is going to be over the Recreation, Parks, Historical Assets, and Cultural Affairs Division. Alan Sells is going to be taking over the Environmental Public Works Department. I will take over, I'll be part of the Community Development, Economic Development Divisions, and Sarah Beeson will stay with Public Safety. Is that all of them? Did I miss anyone? Okay, very good. And up next, under the mayor's report, is a list of upcoming events. Councilmember Hills, would you like to read the list of events for us?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Worthland. Yes, I will continue to remind you, if you would like to know what's going on in Roswell currently or what's coming up, to visit roswell365.com. It's a comprehensive bulletin board, if you will, but much more high-tech, where you can find out what's happening in our local area, whether it be at a restaurant, an event through the city, private organizations that are opening their event to the public. Accordingly, you can sign up to put your own event if you're having, let's say, a community garage sale, or if you're hosting something with the nonprofit where you serve. You can post that on Roswell365.com and get a little bit more exposure, and hopefully have a whole lot more people participate. So do go check that out. I'd also like to tell you that we are in the midst, full throttle, of our Roswell Roots programming for Black History Month. And you can come celebrate with us all month. This is the 23rd Roswell Roots Festival. It's a community-wide, month-long celebration to highlight education, cultural and historic awareness right here in the city of Roswell. This year, the festival will feature flagship events such as Lyrics and Lear, Grabbing the Hammer Lane, a trucker narrative. That one has just, gosh, do we have two of those? Are there two of those? Forgive me. I know we've already had one of those. Black in the Box, Carla Harris and the Joe Alterman Trio, and the Groveway Community Group presents the Metropolitan Atlanta Community Band. Tickets for these events are available on www.roswellcac.showware.com/, and the full list of Roswell Roots events and programs is available on www.roswellroots.com, which is located on roswell365.com. Additionally, this weekend we've got an event coming up at the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. This is the Atlanta Community Symphony Orchestra, and Pleasant Hill Church present the Harmonic Heritage. This is a celebration of Black History Month through chamber music. That's located at 725 Pleasant Hill Street, just down the street from here. So that will be this Saturday, February the 17th at 3 p.m. It's free. I encourage you to go enjoy that, get a little culture, learn about our community, and enjoy the weekend, have the evening to go do something else maybe that you find on Roswell 365. And that's all I have, Mayor Pro Tem Worthland. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Next, under the mayor's report, are the appointments to the boards and commissions for the city of Roswell. Please come forward to take the oath of office. I'm going to call everyone up at the same time. Board of Zoning Appeals, we're going to reappoint Dan Seeger. Is Dan here tonight? There we go. Construction Board of Adjustment and Appeals, reappointments of Maria DeCellis, Stu Mooring, David Palmer, David White, and Robert Maddox. Downtown Development Authority, appointment of Bill Wilkinson to post 3. Downtown Development Authority appointment Trent McClure to post 5. Design Review Board appointment Pfeiffer Reed. Historic Preservation Commission appointment Michael Sutton. And a special note, we would also like to make special mention of Don Wheeler that has been appointed to the Roswell Housing Authority, who is directly appointed by Mayor Wilson. Okay. Okay, we got to do this.
So we haven't done this before, so you're going to.
Oh, me, you both.
Without fear.
Okay, cool.
I, David White, solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and observe the provisions of the Charter
Bill Wilkinson, solemnly utmost of my skill and ability.
That I will, to the utmost of my skill and ability.
Ideally squeezing in a little bit. Council in front. Mr. Morthland, do you want to get in the center? Or can you take a step forward? There we go. All right. Good. Thank you.
Okay, next we are going to discuss the appointments, and I'd like to have a motion for the approval of the Board of Zoning Appeals reappointment Dan Seeger. All right, motion by Councilmember Hills, a second. Councilmember Johnson, all those in favor? All those in favor? There you go. Okay. Next, we're going to discuss the Construction Board of Adjustments and Appeals, reappointments for Maria De Cellis, Stu Mooring, David Palmer, David White, and Robert Maddox. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Hills, a second. Second by Councilmember Johnson. All those in favor? Okay, passes unanimous. Next, we're going to talk about the Downtown Development Authority appointment of Bill Wilkinson to post 3. I have a motion from Councilmember Hills, a second. Second from Alan Sells this go around. All those in favor? There we are, all unanimous. Downtown Development Authority appointment Trent McClure to post 5. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Hills. Second. Second by Councilmember Sells. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Design Review Board appointment Pfeiffer Reed. Motion by Councilmember Beeson. Second by Councilmember Hills. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Nice. Next is the Historic Preservation Commission appointment of Michael Sutton. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Hills, second by Councilmember Johnson. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Great. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to the approval of the appointment of interim city clerk Nancy Saviano Long. This is the last item on the mayor's report. Do I have a motion? Motion to approve by Councilmember Hall, second by Councilmember Sells. All those in favor of appointing Nancy Saviano Long to interim city clerk? There we go. It is unanimous. Thank you. Next, we are going to discuss, next on the agenda is the public hearing for the appeal of denial of massage establishments. I'd like to ask Chief Conroy to come forward. Here he comes. Chief Conroy, please introduce the item.
All right, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. Tonight we were scheduled to hear 2 appeal hearings. Earlier this evening, I spoke with Attorney Sam Mabine, who you met at the last City Council meeting. He represents both appellants. He advised that both appellants are withdrawing their appeals. Therefore, both of these cases are now closed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we need a vote on any of this? Okay. Thank you, Chief Conroy. We're rocking and rolling. Next is the consent agenda. Does the council have any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? Okay. Does anyone from the public have questions or comments about the consent agenda? All right. Bringing it back to council, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Councilmember Beeson. Do I have a second? Councilmember Johnson. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda? There we go. Passes unanimous. Thank you. Next is the community development. Councilmember Hills, will you read the first item under community development?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Northland. The first item on the community development agenda portion is the final plat, East Village, 2600 Holcomb Bridge Road, and the applicant has requested a deferral. Ms. Dybel, do you have anything to add? Okay. Yep.
So Ms. Dybel, as we did last week, would you like just to go straight into the recommendation for deferral?
Yes, the applicant, good evening, Mayor and Council. The applicant has requested a deferral of this item. Staff recommends deferral.
Very good. Does council have any questions or comments about the deferral? All right. Does the questions? All right. Are there any questions by the community? Councilmember Hills, would you like to make a motion for deferral?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Northland. I make a motion to defer item 1, final plat, East Village, 2600 Holcomb Bridge Road, for deferral.
Do we have a second? All right. Councilman Sells with the second. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Thank you. Next on the agenda, Councilmember Hills, will you read the last item under the community development?
Yes, this is the approval of a text amendment to the Unified Development Code, UDC, Article 4, Section 4.5.2, Use Table, Article 5, Section 5.5.2, Use Table, Article 6, Section 6.5.2, Use Table, and Article 9, Section 9.5.2, Indoor Recreation, 9.5.3, Medical, and 9.5.8, Personal Service regarding massage establishments. This is the second reading, and I'll turn this over to Ms. Dybel. Unless the city attorney has something to add.
City Attorney Davidson, will you read the ordinance?
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Code by modifying Article 4, Corridor Nodes Districts, Article 5, Downtown Historic Districts, Article 6, Employment Districts, and Article 9, Use Provisions, text of which is incorporated herein by reference, and if approved, this will be the second reading.
All right, Councilmember Hills, will you turn it over to Ms. Dybel?
Yes, I will. So the first reading of, go through the timeline here. This item was initiated on January 8th. The Planning Commission heard it on the 16th of January. The first reading was on the 22nd, and it is here this evening for a second reading. So at the first reading, there were several changes that were requested and other discussions that had happened in between. So what has changed in this code or this ordinance tonight is that we have changed the use name in the use tables from massage and spa establishment to licensed massage establishment. We removed health spa and changed it to wellness. We moved the massage therapy under medical and created a definition for it. And we created a definition and use standard for licensed massage establishment. And this happened due to discussions, not only with mayor and council, but also with the city attorney and the police chief since the January 22nd meeting. So as stated in Article 4, Articles 5, and Article 6, instead of massage and spa establishment, you're now going to see the title for the use as licensed massage establishment. And this is throughout the text amendment in these sections. Licensed massage establishment. So under indoor recreation of 9.5.2, we are removing the term health spa from item number 7. And it's going to be changed to gym and wellness/yoga studio. That was in reference to what the city attorney believes should be changed to, but based on the conversation. 9.5.2, under indoor recreation, letter C, we are amending that to remove the term health spa, and it will also say gym and wellness yoga studio in that section. This is the new portion, section 9.5.3, medical. We are creating a new number 4 and renumbering as needed for massage therapy. And we are creating a letter B to read as follows, to define massage therapy. So as indicated here in the definition, you can see it's the assessment of soft tissue and joints in the body, treatment and prevention of physical dysfunction, pain of soft tissues and joints by manipulation, to develop, maintain, rehabilitate, or augment physical function or relieve pain. Massage therapy is a clinically oriented healthcare option that helps alleviate the musculoskeletal disorders associated with everyday stress, physical manifestation of the mental distress, muscular overuse, and many persistent pain syndromes. And a massage therapist must be licensed by the state of Georgia. So that is new and it's being moved into medical based on a lot of conversations that we've had over the last month. Under personal service, we are removing therapeutic massage. As you can see, I'm indicating there to delete it entirely. Sorry, I got a little overboard there. And then it'll be renumbering under personal service, we're adding licensed massage establishment. And we're creating a new letter D, which has a long definition listed here that I received from the city attorney based on, I believe, the police chief and the city attorney. If you like, I will read the entire definition, but that's up to all of you if you like.
Please do, yes.
Please do. All right, so define massage means the application of a system of structured touch, pressure, movement, and holding to the soft tissue of the body in which the primary intent is to enhance or restore health and well-being. Such term includes a complementary methods, including without limitation, cupping therapy, taping techniques, the external application of water, superficial heat, superficial cold lubricants, salt scrubs or other topical preparations, and the use of commercially available electromechanical devices, which do not require the use of transcutaneous electrodes, and which mimic or enhance the actions possibly by the hands. The term also includes determining whether massage therapy is appropriate or contraindicated, or whether referral to another healthcare provider is appropriate. Such terms shall not include the use of ultrasound, fluidotherapy, laser, and other methods of deep thermal modalities. This term shall not include diagnosis, the prescribing of drugs or medicines, spinal or other joint manipulations, or any service or procedure when performed by a person who is licensed by the state of Georgia to practice chiropractic, physical therapy, podiatry, or medicine. This term shall not include the touching of the scalp or ears while providing a haircut, or touching of the hands or feet while providing a manicure or pedicure by a person licensed by the Georgia State Board of Cosmetology. The second part of that is the new use standards, which was approved by the mayor and council and was recommended by the planning commission. So it will state where a licensed massage establishment is considered a conditional use and may be permitted subject to the requirements of the Roswell City Code with approval by the mayor and council. A conditional use approval for a licensed massage establishment does not run with the land. Staff does recommend approval. One other item, sorry. This requires renumbering or relettering actually from the personal service to change the existing letter D to letter E. So there are updated changes. Staff does recommend approval. However, if you feel that you need to review the changes based on the conversations that have been had since the January 22nd meeting, and you choose to defer for 2 weeks, that is your choice. But staff does feel that this is all the appropriate aspects that are needed based on the conversations with the city attorney and the police chief.
Okay, thank you. Does council have any questions or comments from Ms. Dybel? Councilmember Beeson.
I just want to thank Ms. Dybel for taking the time to get the language right in this, along with the city attorney. I think that was one of my biggest hangups. The previous meeting was working through those definitions in the defined code. I think we evolved from, does it involve you getting undressed, to actually addressing what massage therapy is in this instance. So I really do want to take the time to commend staff on making sure that we got that right. But I do want to hold on that until we do hear from the public to make sure that we fully got it right with those who do this professionally.
Anybody else? Any other questions or comments from council? Okay, we're going to open it up. Anyone from the public like to speak on this item? Hello? All right.
Good evening. I would like to take a moment to say thank you.
Name and address, please.
Joe Taylor, I'll get my yellow card here in a second. Joe Taylor, 3022 Glendower Way, Roswell, Georgia, 30075. I'd like to thank you guys. I can't thank you enough in behalf of all of us massage therapists for really, really diving into this and hearing us. I'm going to get emotional here. I apologize. Thank you. Also, I was put in the paper that I blasted City Council. No, I will never blast City Council. I will always hold you guys in highest regard and respect. And I apologize that the patch felt that I was blasting you. It was never my intention, and I do want to clarify that. And I apologize that it was ever even I hope that it was never taken that way. Passionate and wanting to be heard, but never blasting, okay? I have a question to start out with, because I had a lot of questions, but now it seems like it's shifting. With, what I have here is that we've been moved to like section 10. So we're not in section 10, we've actually been put into section 9 now, is that correct?
So this is the UDC changes. The massage establishment ordinance is coming up later in my report.
Pardon me?
Is coming up later in this meeting for the first reading in my report.
Okay.
This is the UDC changes.
Okay,
So
this
we're
is
doing
UDC
two
changes.
ordinances.
Okay, can I come back then at that point in time?
Well,
Okay.
if the mayor pro tem wishes.
Pardon me?
We'll see you soon. Okay, anybody else from the community?
Guys.
Okay. Last call for the community? All right. Bringing it back to council. Any other questions or comments for the council? Yes, ma'am. Bill.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Morthland. I too would like to applaud our community of health professionals. One of the biggest things when I jumped into this February of 22 to eradicate illicit behavior through a lot of these spa establishments. And I was beating a drum with our city attorney, David Davidson. We have got to protect the people that are doing good, that are serving our residents, and people that don't live in Roswell that come here because they know the pros are here. And I don't mean the pros, I mean the professionals. But I do want to tell you, I think I can speak for everybody up here, including Mayor Wilson. We never felt attacked. We never felt like you were against city council and mayor or the city. You were sticking up for yourselves and trying to help educate us. I don't believe any of us are in your industry, and many use a lot of your services, and that's how we can stay up so late and talk about things like this that impact all of our residents. So I would also like to comment on Ms. Taylor's apology for the patch, and what a gracious thing to say, because we're well aware of how the media misconstrues almost everything we do up here. And that should be under attack, quite frankly. It's despicable, and it put you in a bad light. It threw shade on you all as if you're a bunch of crazy people coming up here wagging at your finger, and you were not. I never felt that way, and I'm apologizing to you that we have to undergo that sort of scrutiny and lies from the media almost every single week. And I am so sorry that you had to come up here and say that. So I can't control it. I don't really read any of that stuff because most of it's not real. But I want to say thank you, and we're not done. We'll continue to learn from you and what you bring to us to help us do a better job of protecting you and getting rid of the bad actors that make us all look bad. Roswell's a great city, and you are in part a big part of that, of how we operate on a day-to-day basis. So genuinely, I thank you, and I appreciate you being here. I know this is time out on a night that you could be swimming home. So thank you for being here, and you have my support. I appreciate you.
All right, any other comments from council? Good to go? All right, I'd like to call for a motion. Councilmember Hills, would you like to make a motion on the second reading?
Yes, sir. I motion to approve the text amendment to the UDC, also known as the Unified Development Code, Article 4, Section 4.5.2, Use Table Article 5, Section 5.5.2, Use Table Article 6, Section 6.5.2, Use Table and Article 9, Section 9.5.2, Indoor Recreation 9.5.3, Medical and 9.5.8, Personal Service regarding massage establishments. This is the second reading.
All right, do we have a second? Johnson? All right, all those in favor, second? There we go. Passes unanimous. Thank you. Next, we are going to move on to the Environmental Public Works Department. Councilmember Sells, would you read the first item under the Environmental Public Works section?
I will, Mayor Pro Tem. I will, Mayor Pro Tem Morphin. So the motion is an approval of a text amendment to Chapter 24, Utilities and Services, Section 24.5.20, Plumbing and Water Conservation, and Section 24.5.22, Conservation Measures Relating to Lawn and Landscape Irrigation of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Roswell. This is the second reading.
All right, City Attorney Davidson, would you read the ordinance?
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 24 entitled Utilities and Services and Section 24.5.20 Plumbing and Water Conservation and Section 24.5.22 Conservation Measures Relating to Lawn and Landscape Irrigation, the text of which is incorporated herein by reference, and if approved, this is the second reading.
All right, Councilmember Sells, would you like to hand this over to Mr. Watson?
I would love to hand it over to Mr. Wilson.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This is the second reading of the Water Conservation Ordinance. In 2022, the Metropolitan North Georgia Water Planning District, or the district, released the 2022 Water Resources Plan. As part of that plan, the district developed new criteria for plumbing fixtures and conservation and developed a model ordinance for local jurisdictions to adopt. The reason for this was to address water conservation in the region, and the changes in this ordinance only applies to new construction. The new model ordinance provided updates to definitions, updates to the table of fixtures, and incorporated the landscape conservation measures into one ordinance. As this is the second reading, I'll take any questions that you all may have.
All right, does council have any questions or comments for Mr. Watson? None? To the community, anybody from the community, from the public would like to speak on this item? See none, bringing it back to council. Anybody from council? Last time for questions, comments? Okay. Going to bring it into a motion. Council member, who?
No, I have,
Do you have a question?
yes.
You do have, all right, Councilmember Hills, I'm sorry.
Thank you. First, I would like to say that what I'm going to talk about for a minute has no reflection on Director Watson. I have full trust and support in how he operates his department, and am so happy and sleep well at night knowing that you're at the helm. I also know that you and your department has a responsibility to exhaust every single opportunity that we have in the city to do right by our residents. And I know some of this pertains to possibilities of grant opportunities going down the road, but I personally feel like this is less about conservation and more about control, and I will not be supporting this tonight. Just today, under the Gold Dome, we had House Bill 206, where we had this could lead to later, where the House was pushing on making a law where if that the municipalities would have the opportunity to use public funding to retrofit things like sprinkler heads and shower heads and faucets with public money, and retrofit that not only on brand new buildings but on things that are already existing. And I feel like that's complete overreach by our government. I know that's not what this is about, but I personally can't sleep at night knowing that I'm furthering a possible phony for later. So I am going to be voting no on this, but I have full belief and faith in Director Watson. It has no reflection on any of our city staff here. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Morthland.
Any other comments? Mr. Johnson? Councilmember Johnson?
If we did not adopt this, what grants will we lose or grant money?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
If we did not adopt this ordinance, right, we lose the possibility to apply for grants. Do you know off the top of your head what grants we might not be able to get, or what money we could lose towards the city?
There's several grants. I couldn't give you all of them. A lot of them are based out of, state grants or EPA grants that are related to water conservation.
Any other commentary? Councilmember Beeson?
Conversely, completely respect Councilmember Hill's perspective. Working in the environmental industry, I also have a pretty long view of stewardship towards the river. Chattahoochee River is where we get most of our water supply, not only here in Roswell. The Chattahoochee River supplies 70% of the metro Atlanta area with our drinking water. It's one of the only metropolitan areas in the United States that is supplied by a singular water source, most of which is surface water and not groundwater. Understand also the recommendations for the needs for putting these in place to make sure that it's not necessarily overreaching with its conservation, but we're being smart with our use of our water. So therefore, I do support tonight's initiative. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody? Councilmember Hills?
Thank you, sir. I just would like to again state that I believe this is less about conservation and more about control by our government. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Councilmember Sells, would you like to make a motion for the second reading?
I suppose I would. So I make a motion that we approve the text amendment to Chapter 24, Utilities and Services, Section 24.5.20, Plumbing and Water Conservation, and Section 24.5.22, Conservation Measures Relating to Lawn and Landscape Irrigation of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Roswell.
All right. Do we have a second? Good. Second. Councilmember Hall. Very good. All those in favor? 4. All those opposed? 1. Okay. Motion passes 4-1. Councilmember Sells, would you like to read the final item under the Environmental Public Works section?
I would, Mayor Pro Tem Morphin. Approval of a text amendment to the Unified Development Code, Article 12, Environmental Protection, Section 12.5, Stormwater Management, and Article 13, Administration. 13.2, Review Authority. This is the first reading.
City Attorney Davidson, would you read the ordinance?
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend Unified Development Code by modifying Article 12, Environmental Protection, and Article 13, Administration. Now therefore, the mayor and council of the city of Roswell, Georgia, pursuant to their authority, do hereby amend Article 12, Environmental Protection, Section 12.5, Stormwater Management, and Article 13, Administration, Section 13.2, Review Authority of the Unified Development Code, as shown in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein, and if approved, this is the first reading.
All right, Councilmember Sells.
Mr. Watson.
Thank you, sir. All right, so for this one, I do have a quick presentation for the text amendment to the UDC. Just to give a quick timeline, this was originally brought to council last September when it was initiated. Because of when we brought it to council, we were not able to get it onto the October Planning Commission. And November, I was not able to attend the Planning Commission meeting, so that the Planning Commission actually happened in January of this year. The first reading will be tonight, and if you all approve this, the second reading will be February 26th. Purpose of this text amendment, two items. It changes stormwater authority. Right now, it is dual departments that have authority over stormwater. This will put it over a single department, Environmental Public Works. The second thing that it does is it removes duplicative language regarding variances to stormwater design. In your packet, here's a summary of the changes in both Section 12.5 as well as 13.2. Staff, when we took this to Planning Commission, they recommended approval of all of the changes, and staff also recommends approval of all changes. Take any questions that you may have.
All right, questions by council? Question, comment?
I would just like to comment that hopefully this will mean that things like East Village will not slide like they did before, and that this will be unified and done at the planning phase and not after the fact. So I'm very pleased to support this.
Nice. Questions, comments? Anybody else? Ms. Hall, Councilmember Hall.
Yes, I haven't spoken yet. I just want to thank the departments for working together. This is an example of basically the remaking of City Hall that's been going on for 2 years now, breaking down the silos, looking at what is the best and most efficient way and the correct way to service our residents, service the projects in the city. So thank you very much for all the work to Mr. Knighton's leadership and all the department heads and departments. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from council? All right. Opening it up to the public. Anyone from the public like to speak on this item? All right. Bringing it back to council. Last time, questions, comments from council. All right. Councilmember Sells, do you have a motion?
Not sure how what is it on the first reading? Just a motion to accept the first reading, right?
Approve the first reading.
Approve the first reading? Okay, gotcha. Thanks. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Morflin, I would like to make a motion to approve the first reading of the text amendment to the Unified Development Code, Article 12, Environmental Protection, Section 12.5, Stormwater Management, and Article 13, Administration, 13.2, Review Authority, and to approve this first reading.
Do I have a second? Councilmember Beeson, thank you. All those in favor? Unanimous vote. Thank you. Next, we are going to turn it over to the Finance Department, and Councilmember Christine Hall. Would you read the item, please?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Morthland. The item number 5 is the presentation of the fiscal year FY 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, the acronym ACFR, and our interim finance director, Georgette McCrae, will be presenting. Thank you, Ms. McCrae.
Welcome, Ms. McCrae.
Hi.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This is a presentation of our FY23 audit and our annual comprehensive financial report. So this is a statement from our auditor, CKH Group. City received an unmodified audit report, means a clean opinion. They stated, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, the aggregate discretely presented component units, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the city as of June 30th, 2023. So as they were going through the audit, this is an excerpt from our annual comprehensive financial report with the auditor's discussion and analysis. So they encountered no difficulties in dealing with the management relating to the performance of the audit, no disagreements with management over the audit. This is our annual comprehensive financial report. So there are basically 3 sections of the report. There's an introductory section, a financial section, and a statistical section. And while this report is not required by state law, but it is in our city code that we prepare it every year. So some financial highlights: the city's assets exceeded its liabilities at June 30th by $386,643,482. And some general fund highlights: our fund balance at the end of June 30th was $34,287,348. Non-spendable was $935,000. Assigned was $3.2 million, and unassigned is $30,154,707. So some more general fund highlights: our 2023 revenues increased in the amount of $7.3 million over last year's revenues, and our expenditures also increased $2.1 million over the expenditures for 2022. Some other highlights: the bond we issued at $86.2 million, and then the total cost of all our government activities this fiscal year was $101 million compared to $89 million from last year. And I will take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Questions by council? Okay. I'm going to turn it over to the community. Questions by the community. Any questions for Deputy Director McCray? All right, back to council. Last time for questions and comments. Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Hall.
I just want to give a real shout out to Georgette and her team. Not only did they work on the audit, they actually have to start the budget process for the next year while this is going on. So they're double duty, and they are a little shorthanded. And I just want to recognize Georgette and the entire team for a job well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you for that. Any other questions, comments? Let's go. All right. This is a discussion item, so there is no motion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Recreation, Parks, Historic, and Cultural Affairs Department. Councilmember Hills, will you read the item?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Morthland. This is a motion, not yet, but for the approval of a text amendment to section 14.2.4, activities prohibited in parks and public places, the Code of Ordinances of the City of Roswell. This is the second reading, and looks like we're going to hear from Director Stephen Malone. When you're ready, sir.
Director Malone, welcome. Before it goes to Director Malone, goes to City Attorney David Davidson to read the ordinance, please.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 14, Activities Prohibited in Parks and Public Places of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Roswell. Now therefore, the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell, pursuant to their authority, do hereby adopt the following ordinance, text of which is incorporated herein by reference. If approved, this is the second reading.
Right. Director Malone, take off.
Good evening. This is the second reading of the Chapter 14, Section 14.2.4, Activities Prohibited in Parks and Public Spaces. On January 22nd, the Mayor and Council approved the first reading, but had some additions to the language, which have been made here this evening to Section F. So open fires are prohibited, including portable grills and portable fire pits, except within city-installed cooking grills located in designated areas. Happy to answer any questions if you have any related to this amendment.
Okay, any questions for Director Malone? None? Open this up to the public. Would the public like to ask any questions or have comments? See none. Back to council. Council, last time for questions, comments. Okay. Councilmember Beeson.
Just for a point of clarification for the public as well. So the reason why the language was amended to include portable grills and portable fire pits, to Councilmember Johnson's credit during the last meeting, and I agreed with him, the way that our burn ordinance reads here in the city of Roswell is that there is an exemption when you use a designated fire pit, something like a solo stove, because it encloses the area. While it is not always a grill, as long as you don't use the grill plate itself, this allows us to make sure that we're not bringing points of fire, fire pits, fire grills into areas that are very sensitive, highly forested areas. So thank you to staff for including that, but making sure that the public is clear that that is inclusive of solo stoves. Thank you.
Thank you. Question, Councilmember Hills.
Thank you. And thank you, Councilmember Beeson. I would like to clarify also for anybody tuning in, this was directly related to quite a few incidences we had where folks were enjoying themselves in our parkland and then dumping coals, hot coals, in our parkland and leaving it. Heavily trodden areas and beautiful areas that I personally nearly stepped in while just being on a nature walk. So just a point of context, and I too agree with Councilmember Johnson's clarification on making sure we cover all sorts of fire or flame devices used. And that doesn't outlaw everything. The ones that are already installed in our parks, you can still use, barbecue, put out your fire, and sit on your picnic blanket or throw a Frisbee. So thank you for moving so expeditiously on this, Director Malone. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Yes. Councilmember Johnson.
In our binder, under Section F, portable fire pits is not listed. So I think we need to, when we make the motion, we need to add that into our motion. Just, even though it's here on our screen, it's not on ours.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. And that is going to fall. Any other comments or questions before we do this? All right. Councilmember Hills, with Councilmember Johnson's recommendation, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, take off.
Motion to approve the text amendment to Section 14.2.4, Activities Prohibited in Parks and Public Places of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Roswell, with the addition under Chapter 14, Section 14.2.4 on letter F to add the, is it portable? What is it called? Portable fire pit. To add portable fire pit to the language in there where it's listing the items there.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Johnson. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Now we are going to move to the Transportation Department. Councilmember Hills, would you read the first item?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Morthland, thank you. Approval to convert a portion of Horton Drive from full access at State Road 9/Alpharetta Highway to one-way or southbound entrance only from State Route 9 to Horton Drive. And I believe we have Director Littlefield coming.
Director Littlefield is ready. Ready when he is. Okay, I'm not a master at public speaking. We're getting through this.
Thank you.
Director Littlefield. Welcome.
Appreciate going blind, too. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Approval to convert a portion of Horton Drive from a full access at State Route 9, which is Alpharetta Highway, to a one-way or southbound entrance only from State Route 9 to Horton Drive. The existing intersection site distance for Horton Drive's exiting traffic along SR 9 is less than half the recommended 470 feet for a 40-mile-per-hour speed limit. The State Route 9 northbound traffic volumes are 13,000 plus. State Route northbound traffic speeds on the right lane are 49 miles per hour, and on the left lane, the fast lane, is 55 miles per hour. Horton Drive carries less than 200 vehicles per day. Here's the location, which is south of Holcomb Bridge. This is just a diagram showing the recommended site distance in red, and then the existing current site distance with the purple dash line, which measures approximately 215 feet. If a car is pulled up, the green would suggest the sight distance of the driver. You can see the car is actually pulled up into the pedestrian crosswalk, and they still cannot see the full 470 feet. Here's just another example with a fire truck in the background. The green is visible to the driver and the red is obscured. This is an actual RDOT employee sat at the stop bar and took this photo, and this is what they saw. So if they're trying to make a right-hand turn onto State Route 9, it's a pretty scary situation. You can see an approaching truck barely on the right-hand side of your screen. Here's just some kind of illegal activity that occurs out there we captured on the camera. There's a parked car for the car dealership. You see an oncoming car coming. Again, another illegally parked car on the left and the right. The car is backing off of Highway 9 into a parking spot for the car dealer. This is the concept that we propose. In the committee, it came up suggesting that we should place some more directive signing for exiting people outside of the public storage. And you can see that right there. It's a new to SR9 only, and that's for the business. So if you're in a big U-Haul, you won't get stuck going the wrong way or having to turn around on a pretty narrow street. Convert approximately 90 feet of Horton Drive into a one-way entrance from State Route 9 to the driveway. The benefits of this is to enhance safety, maintain inbound access to existing business, direct outbound traffic to nearby Mansell Circle. The proposal is in the Transportation Master Plan. It is a Tier 1 project. And staff recommends approval, and if granted, we will coordinate with GDOT and notify the affected businesses and handle modifications with in-house transportation staff. The estimated cost is approximately $2,000. That's just for striping and signage. Staff recommends approval.
Okay. Bringing it to council for questions and comments. Councilmember Hills.
Thank you. I would just like to applaud Director Littlefield and your team for jumping on this so quickly. I like everything about this project and moving it right along. And I also want to acknowledge Councilmember Beeson's direction on putting a directional sign in here to make sure that folks exit the proper way. I personally have 1.5 college kids worth of storage in that public storage there, so I know firsthand it can be a little tricky getting in and out of there. So thank you very much, and you may have just saved some lives. I appreciate it. I'll be supporting this.
Nice job. Anybody else? Councilmember Johnson?
I was with the said RDOT employee when they took those said pictures. And I just want to say, it's even scarier than what the picture puts on, so this is a good project for the residents of Roswell to make our streets a little more safe for the drivers.
Nice job. All right. Questions, comments? Any others? All right. Open it up to the public. Would the public like to question or comment on this topic? See none. Bringing it back, last round for the mayor, for the council. Questions, comments? Okay. Councilmember Hills, do you have a motion?
I do, sir. Motion to approve to convert a portion of Horton Drive from full access at State Route 9 Alpharetta Highway to one-way or southbound entrance only from State Route 9 to Horton Drive.
Good job. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Beeson. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Councilmember Hills, would you like to read the last item under transportation?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Worthland. Approval to update the City of Roswell's traffic calming program policy to incorporate approved types of vertical deflection treatments and permit transportation to consider and install approved vertical deflection elements into approved city projects moving forward. I give it back to Director Littlefield.
Very excited about this one. The City of Roswell has a traffic calming policy which allows residents to request traffic calming measures and privately fund them if approved. Vertical deflection measures have also been prohibited in the past from our policy. After collaborating with several departments, we were able to get these approved. As long as mayor and council approves them. But we've got all the appropriate in-house collaboration and approval. Staff is proposing approval of the inclusion of vertical inflection measures in the traffic calming policy and also permitting transportation staff to consider them within the scope of future projects on roadways that are 35 miles per hour or less. Here's an example of a speed cushion. You can see there's a separation. Fire trucks can't actually straddle the cushion. But you have to do it kind of carefully. Here's an example of a speed hump. It's a little larger. It does cross the entire roadway minus the curb and gutter, which allows for drainage still to pass through. Here's an example of speed table or a raised crosswalk. These are made out of asphalt. They do have some decorative ones. You can have concrete leading up to brick pavers or any number of means to construct these. Here's a map just showing our traffic calming program, which is in the master plan. These are the Tier 1 projects highlighted in red. You also see Mimosa Boulevard, which we hope will be an initial pilot project. The financial impact, staff made the updates to the policy in-house, and this item triggers no financial impact to the city. Future projects can include these items. Their scope will include these costs. If approved, we'll update the policy and publish to the website, and then we'll make requests in the FY25 budget to start implementing these within the Tier 1 projects of our master plan. Questions?
All right, thank you. Questions, Councilmember Hall.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. So just to be clear that we have a policy for neighborhoods where if neighborhoods want to do traffic calming, they can fill out an application and come to the city, and these are going to be new tools that are available for the neighborhood to consider as far as a traffic calming within the neighborhood. Is that?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they'll be, and we'll also be able to put them in our projects, but also neighborhoods will be able to request these as part of the traffic calming policy.
And how does the cost work for neighborhoods?
The neighborhood pays the cost of the implementation of the traffic control, whatever they choose, whether it's a speed feedback sign or whether it's a speed hump, speed bump, the neighborhood would pay.
And will the neighborhood have to source them themselves, or are they sourced through the city? Will the neighborhood just come to the city and say?
We would approve anything that the neighborhood requested, because we would have to look at things like sight distance to make sure they're not putting them in an inappropriate area. And the neighborhood would need, I think, 65% of the affected neighbors would need to sign off saying that they agree to implement these devices in their neighborhood.
Thank you. We get a lot of requests from neighborhoods for these type of things. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Hills.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this. I think that Mayor Wilson, actually, I know Mayor Wilson has taken it very personally to go after any area that has high traffic or exceptional traffic to really work on reducing that so that we can have a healthy, happy, calm, fewer accident-ridden city. And having this particular opportunity added to our arsenal, I think, is a huge asset. I personally was traveling between Christmas and the first part of the year and saw in several cities where these raised tables actually worked. I wasn't driving, but the Uber or Bolt, I think is what they call it over there, drivers were very cautious. And to tell on myself, early years back, 15 or so, we were attending church in Buckhead, and I was there a lot, and I nearly pulled out my Suburban's axle by going over one the first time on Wyuka Road, and I've never forgotten that. But they do work, and they can also complement our multi-use trails and our pedestrian crosswalks and that sort of thing. So not only are they aesthetically pleasing, they're very functional. And thank you for working so heavily and earnestly with our fire department and Chief Panino on this, because I know that was a huge consideration to have our fire and police vehicles, predominantly our fire, be able to move quickly across and through those kind of intersections to take care of our residents. So multi-purposed. Glad to have that as one more tool, and I'm so glad that you pointed out Mimosa Boulevard. I know Grimes Bridge is another area that we're very concerned about and want to take care of our residents and visitors on and through both of those corridors. So I look forward to supporting this. I'm delighted, and thank you for the months of work on this. I know it's been arduous, but I appreciate it. Thank you, Director Littlefield.
Right. Thank you. Councilmember Hills, that's a mistake that we only make once in our life, isn't it? Councilmember Johnson, yes, sir.
I just want to say thank you as well. I think one of the biggest detriments to life or to the quality of people's lives is not being able to walk outside of their neighborhood streets and have cars flying past them at high rates of speed. And I think this will help many neighborhoods in Roswell. And I look forward to being a champion for the neighborhoods and the residents of Roswell who want slower cars passing in front of their house.
Anybody else? Okay. Councilmember Sells.
You did say that the city would source, I can't remember if you finished the answer to Christine.
We would certainly approve anything that was brought, and we would help the neighborhoods.
So you would source it and they would pay you back? Is that the way it worked?
I would have to look at that.
It depends.
I would have to look at that, yes, sir.
Okay.
Case by case. All right. Anybody else? All right. Open it up to the public. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this item? Yes, sir. Tell us who you are and where you live. And we have 5 minutes on the shot clock for you.
Hi, my name is Charles Weiss, live at 6180 Paddingham Drive in Roswell. And thank you for all this. Living in a neighborhood that ends in a cul-de-sac, I'm amazed the level of speed that somebody uses to get home, right? But also, a lot of neighborhoods are cut through. So I was a little confused about what was up there. So my first question is, are you saying in the future that the traffic calming will there be paid by the city?
If it's in our Tier 1 Transportation Master Plan, let me get back. These are projects for the city that are in our master plan. Holman Road, Alpharetta Highway, Grimes. City maintain outside of neighborhoods. These are just like.
Right, but within a neighborhood, is there a differentiation between a green street sign and a blue street sign as far as?
Blue is private, privately maintained.
Right.
And then the green is.
So here would be my question for city council. If it's a publicly maintained road, even if it's in a neighborhood, especially if it's a pass-through neighborhood where you can go from point A to point B going through that neighborhood itself, if the city is actually in charge of evaluating that, seeing that there's a need, approving the need, why wouldn't the city just pay for it? Why does the neighborhood have to pay for that if the city feels there's a need on a city street to put in traffic measures? Why wouldn't it just be part of what the city pays for to create traffic calming on its streets as opposed to forcing a neighborhood to pay for it? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Director Littlefield, real quick. Can we review the crux of his question there? And that is, if we have a big problem, if we have a significant issue, the neighborhood is going to communicate with the city and ask the city to do the due diligence and understand what the situation is. And if it warrants, we've had this discussion before, if we go into a warrant situation, then the city steps forward. Is that correct?
City can implement anywhere on its own city streets. There is a traffic calming policy for neighborhoods that requires them to get input from, approval from 65% of the residents living or being affected by the traffic calming. And then they bring that to us, and then we evaluate to make sure that the plans that they want to implement, a lot of them are speed feedback signs that neighborhoods want to purchase.
Sure.
We make sure that they're placed properly so that they can be effectively used. The city can choose to devices anywhere they choose to.
But you're saying the neighborhood would still pay for it?
That would be up to the elected bodies to.
I mean, in all seriousness, how much money did the city of Roswell spend in any given year on neighborhoods that are city streets for traffic calming? Are we really talking about millions of dollars? I don't think so. So my question is, if it's the city's street and the neighborhood sees a need for putting in traffic calming measures, brings a proposal to the city, and the city agrees with it, why wouldn't the city just pay for it? Why does the neighborhood have to take on that expense?
Sure. Councilmember Paul, you have a comment?
Thank you. I would just like some clarification on this particular item is adding to the arsenal of what we have available for traffic calming. And the other item, I think that
And we do implement traffic calming measures with our speed feedback trailers that go on rotation. If we get a concern from a citizen, we'll go out, place that out there, see what the speeds are. People generally will slow down for those. We work with PD a lot for enforcement while we're implementing these temporary traffic calming measures. But we're constantly looking at it. Now, this is just literally a new tool for us to use that we never had before.
And I think the second question is let's look at the let's look at the policy. Perhaps that needs to be reviewed separately, and I think that's what the resident is addressing.
And we can certainly look at our policy and then
I just don't think it makes sense that if you got a bunch of houses and a yellow line down the middle of the road, the city would pay for it. But if you have a bunch of houses and people use that as a point of access from A to B road, it just happens to go through a neighborhood, that the city wouldn't pay for it and force the residents to pay for it. If the city approves it, I think it just makes sense for the city to cover the cost on its public roads.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson?
To our resident that spoke up, I just want to say I'm in 100% agreement with you. I do not think that a city-owned road, that a neighborhood should have to pay for the infrastructure. Now, I might be the minority and the only one with this group of 6-7 people, but I agree with you 100%. If cars are going 40 miles an hour down a neighborhood road, then the city needs to do something about fixing their streets. Goodness gracious.
Very good. Back to the community. Anybody else from the, yes, sir. Jeff, you're popular tonight.
Council, my name is Chip Colson. I
Yes,
live at 8070 Magnolia Way, Magnolia Walk, right around the corner. I wasn't really coming here prepared to speak tonight, but then I saw this presentation, and I've lived in my home since 1998. And I back up to Pine Grove Road, just below North Coleman, where it intersects. I've seen, since I've lived there, at least 4 fatalities on that road, that stretch of road, right behind our house, and those are just the ones that I'm there, and the road is so unsafe. We like to walk that sidewalk. I was the one that complained, and we got the sidewalk repaired, so I want to thank you for reacting on that, but it was cracked. We also had several telephone poles that have been hit. A couple people have died. We were fortunate we had to get the news media involved to get those poles moved back. But this is the most unsafe road I think we have in Roswell. I mean, if you walk out there, stand any period of time looking at it, people are doing 65 miles an hour, and there's no point for them to slow down. They come around a sharp curve. At the bottom of North Coleman, we really need an all-stop, a caution, some type of an all-stop. I know it's been under study, and I see it up there, but nothing's being done. And I've developed an entire presentation. I'd love to share it with you. I think I've shared it with Christine, and she wants to share it with you all. But it is scary what we've observed on this road. So I hope it's coming up. I see Pine Grove Road on the master plan, but I can tell you the last death was on the national championship game the night Georgia was playing Alabama. Somebody died in our backyard. It's just hard to watch, hard to take. There's accidents in the morning. Went out and helped a kid not too long ago that slammed into the back of somebody because of a speed, or somebody had stopped at the bottom of North Coleman. He didn't see it. But it's all hours of the night, and it's really, really bad. So I guess my question is, how far along are we on this master study plan? Is there going to be anything done on Pine Grove Road just below Coleman? Good, thank you. Good.
The Pine Grove Road is 2 projects, and it's in the T-Splosh 2. We just received our concepts back from the consultant maybe 2 weeks ago. We're getting ready to have a public hearing March 13th. We've shared it with the council. David, you'll be getting yours tomorrow, actually, your review of it. So we're ready. We are moving forward. I know it's a slow process, but it is moving forward. We do have the concept, and public hearing will be coming up very shortly.
Fantastic. Need anything from me, I'll be happy to help.
Come to the public hearing.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Okay. Bringing it back to council. Any last comments or questions from council? All right. Councilmember Hills, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, sir, I would. Motion to approve to update the City of Roswell's traffic calming program policy to incorporate approved types of vertical deflection treatments and permit transportation to consider and install approved vertical deflection elements into approved city projects moving forward.
All right. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Beeson. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have the City Attorney, David Davidson. Would you like to read the first item under the City Attorney's report?
Thank you. The first item I have is approval of a text amendment to Article 4.4 Massage Establishments and Spas of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Roswell. And with your permission, I will do the first reading.
Take off.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 4, Article 4.4 Massage Establishments and Article 10.13 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Roswell to permit and regulate massage establishments within the City of Roswell and for other purposes. Now therefore, the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell, pursuant to their authority, do hereby adopt the following amendment, text of which is incorporated herein by reference, and if approved, this would be the first reading. You want me to talk about it? You want me to talk about it?
Please do.
Okay. So these are some recommended changes that myself, the Police Department, Code Enforcement, Zoning Administrator, Mr. Knighton, and city staff have come up with. We've listened to the massage therapist here, the licensed massage therapist, and if you look at it, I'll go through some of the changes. It's here for everybody to see, but some of the changes, one of the changes is to remove the surety requirement. One of the first actual changes to move it from the sexually oriented businesses to the actual business regulation section in the code. I did hear that one of the last meetings. We've increased the counties for the registered agent to be located. It was just Fulton County, is now Fulton County, Gwinnett County, Forsyth County, Cherokee County, DeKalb County, Cobb County, Clayton County, or Paulding County. We are now requiring a Georgia driver's license or a federal ID instead of just any kind of driver's license, because people can get a New York driver's license without even being a citizen in the United States. We've increased the time period for not having a violation to 24 months instead of 12 months. We are now providing a notice to the actual property owner of any kind of citation. Therefore, the owner will be on notice whenever one of their tenants is cited. We've removed the term spa or spa establishment, and I believe that is the major changes that we've incorporated herein, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Council, are there any questions for Attorney Davidson? Councilmember Hall.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Davidson, for making those changes. I have a question on the registered agent. So if you are a sole practitioner, can you be your own registered agent?
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Beeson.
I just want to thank the staff for accommodating requests as well for hosting an open house, for hearing out from a lot of the practitioners who specialize in this field, and incorporating those changes through this ordinance. I know when we rolled out at the beginning, well, at the end of last year, going into the beginning of this year, the new registration process, we immediately got a lot of feedback, and being able to incorporate it pretty much within a 6-week period, being able to address those issues and concerns as quickly as possible before the registration period even closed. I do want to thank staff for doing that. I also want to thank the professionals and the practitioners and the massage therapist who reached out to us, who came to our open house, who attended council meetings, and provided that input for us. Because we are not in your shoes, we cannot speak on your behalf as to how it impacts your business. As someone who runs a small business, a small family business, I'm very empathetic to someone who's in your shoes, feeling as if your livelihood is under threat. And to reiterate what Councilmember Hills had said earlier, that is by no means the intention of this mayor and council, nor the city of Roswell. We want to continue to be a wonderful place to do business, and that business includes massage therapy. So just wanted to say thank you collectively to those who were involved and helped shape this policy.
All right. Councilmember Johnson.
And I just wanted to clarify that if you already have a business here in Roswell and you're going for renewal, we do not need a registered agent. Is that correct?
So if you're an existing business, you would need to meet the requirements, but you wouldn't have to have a registered agent if you're already doing business in the city. Correct.
All right. Any other questions from council? Okay. All right, open it up to the public for commentary, questions, comments. All right, welcome back.
Taylor, 3022 Glendower Way, Roswell, Georgia, 30075. Hello, guys. Okay, I thought we were going to go over 10 a little bit more, but you've hit some wonderful points. I have a few, and if I'm out of line, you tell me, okay? And we can discuss it later somehow or other, okay? But at 13.1, it's the only place that I really saw it that has massage parlor in it. If we could remove that and make it illicit massage to be cohesive with the rest of the and actually, on 10.13.1, the Georgia General Assembly has declared that the practice of massage therapy is an activity affecting the public interest involving health, safety, welfare, public, and the practice massage therapy by a person who is not licensed. may we add illicit massage to that? Then that way, that is separating them, and it is clear that they are not licensed massage therapists. That is only a suggestion, but I would like to offer that. Okay. My next point is, just where you guys know, there is no apprenticing massage. I'm also an esthetician. I can apprentice somebody to become an esthetician. It is illegal in the state. It is not allowed to apprentice anybody for massage, okay? So just where you guys know that, it is not, if anybody ever tells you they're apprenticing, no, illegal, okay? We have to have 500 hours by an accredited school. The exam that we take, you really have to sort of speak English and read English. So you need to be fluent. That doesn't mean to be discriminating or anything, but it's just the way it is right now. Next point is in 10.13.4, any natural person, this is item 1, any natural person who is a physician, chiropractor, physical therapist, and may we add licensed massage therapist there to clarify. What would constitute an exemption? Okay, is this only for, I doubt that you've had many sole practitioners human trafficking or doing illicit, I'm sure there are some out there doing illicit massage, but how would we have an exemption to this licensing? That would probably go to you, Mr. Davidson.
So under number 5, if you look at number 5, I put if it's solely operated by the person who has been continually licensed pursuant to the Georgia Massage Therapy Act for at least 4 years, and there's no other individuals in the establishment. So if you're just there by yourself, right?
I'm exempt?
Then you may be exempted by the city administrator.
Okay,
If
so
you
I'm a
get, if you show
20-year
him,
massage therapist.
Right.
Never have had any infractions or anything. I would be a candidate for being exempt.
Correct.
And what does that mean by us being exempt?
that means you would be exempt from having to get the massage establishment license application from the police department. You'd still have to pay your occupation tax and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay, thank you for that. That's very much appreciated that you put that in for us ones that are well established. Okay, let me hurry through here. I apologize. I know it's late for everybody. Okay, real quick, what does UGC see? Is that just commercial quarter?
That's basically the zoning ordinance of the city.
Right, but is that, C is the commercial
No, C is
quarter?
conditional.
Conditional, and what is conditional?
That means it's coming to mayor and council for approval.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that clarification. May I ask, what other business in the city of Roswell requires a work permit for their staff
All alcohol licenses.
and massage therapist?
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember what we're trying to do. We're
I
not
understand.
trying to punish you by any means.
I understand, but I have to ask the question. Okay.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay. Massage Envy, Massage Now, Levitas, where do they stand in this? Are they exempt, or are they having to do the same thing that I'm having to do?
They're gonna have to do the same thing you're doing.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a recommendation, and I don't know where this would go, okay? You will not see, I do not believe, a licensed massage therapist with a neon sign in their window that says open. So I don't know where you want to put that massage therapists cannot have neon signs that says open, but you might want to add it because it's going to give you some good leverage, okay? See, we're here to help. Okay, let's see. What about this 300 feet from a church or from a organization? If we were a licensed massage therapist, And we have all of our credentials, and we've gone through all of and we are already existing. Would that, how would we work with that? Would there be any exemptions to that?
If you're an existing business, then you're not going to have to move, but a new business will not be able to go into those locations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and I have one
That's-
last question, and it's quick. Actually, it's a comment. This is in the, I think in the UDC code. The definition of massage is, is a conflict with the definition in 10.13.2. We don't have bathhouses and things like that. We might have an infrared sauna that is made to help muscles, but we do body treatments, but we don't do a lot of things that are in this. So anyway, that's
Thank
all
you.
I have tonight.
Very good.
Again, thank you,
Yes,
thank you, and thank you 1,000,001 times. Appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else from the community? All right, she got it. Hello again.
Oh,
All right.
do you need me to identify myself again?
Name and address, please.
All right. Hi, Charles Weiss, 6180 Paddingham Drive in Roswell. First of all, thank you for this. This is hard, and thank you guys for all your input. In reading through the ordinance, it's a cluster mess. It really is. So there's a lot of things that, there's 5 departments involved with this law. And I think what happened in the last couple of months is everybody thought everybody else was doing something instead of it all being cohesive. So I have a lot of questions, most of which I'll cover online or offline individually, but I think there needs to be a liaison for this to make sure all the departments are doing what they need to do. You know, the application wasn't even in place originally, even though the law was passed a year and a half ago. So there's a lot of things that don't make sense in reading it. The revocation thing makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. At one point it was 3 violations, but the reality is most of the violations the police were being involved with were not even the city ordinance violations. They were the illicit massage violations, but those were handled by the state. And so they were in Fulton County Court, not in Roswell Court. But what you saw was a shell game, right? Which is if I have 3 violations, all I'm gonna do is just change my corporate entity. And then the original corporate entity may have some dings against it, but we're new and we don't. So that's what we're seeing a lot of is, I don't think the city really still even understands all of the holes that are in this. What does it take for the city administrator to revoke a license? Because part of this says it has to be legally revoked by a judge. But then part of this says that the city administrator can ask for it to be revoked. But who's he asking it to be revoked by? Right? There's a lot of different holes. How many penalties? Why does it have to be 3 penalties? Are the penalties a singular incident where an officer can walk up, see 3 violations and write 3 tickets and have that taken to court and have a judge and hopefully the city's legal counsel hold that establishment to all 3 of those violations? Or are those violations going to get rolled into one, and now you need 3 separate visitations? Why 24 months? That isn't long enough for if somebody is distinctly violating this law. And again, we're definitely not talking about the people sitting over here. Why isn't it 5 years? If you've had a violation of this, if you've done illicit massage, why is it that if I've worked in an illicit massage place, I can literally go tomorrow, actually within 30 days, and ask you guys to give me a license to open up a new establishment. It should be, if you've worked in an illicit place, that you should not be allowed to be granted the license, tying it into the owners, right? It's incredible that the owners are just, I mean, you see it by the Brookwood Grill, you see it up by Crystal. The owners are renting to these places, and they're turnkey, well, they're the ones writing the leases, right? And they know who they're writing the leases to. But the owners are not deeply involved in this thing, in the writing of it, right, of the properties. If a property has been, had illicit massage on it, why would you allow another illicit massage place to go in that? I seriously don't know of a licensed person who would just go, oh, that illicit massage place just left here, let's take over the space. They're not going to want anything to do with that space. Neither is another licensed professional. So why not just make it so that that owner can't rent it out to an illicit place, because that's what they're doing. They literally are just, you know, we had a discussion of, they literally bought the equipment from the illicit place under the new corporation, right? I don't know a legitimate business who would go, oh, all this stuff has been used in an illicit massage? We can get it for pennies on the dollar. You wouldn't touch that stuff. It's disgusting. So there's still a tremendous amount of holes in this, way too much to discuss over the course of 4 or 5 minutes. I would love to have a personal discussion with you guys and really talk about all the holes that are still here, because the goal is to make this thing bulletproof and, most importantly, protect our licensed massage therapists who are doing really good work and getting the illicit stuff completely out of the city by making sure this eradicates them, but also protects our licensed massage therapists who are doing good work.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Anybody else from the community, from the public? Welcome.
Hi, I'm Sue Dupart, 500 Shadowwood Court, and I don't understand, they are state licensed professionals. So shouldn't that be on some law that the licensed employee has to be exposed in the office for a confirmation that it's a professional service, and that their license could be revoked by the board? You guys could have consulted the state. The state has public records from Secretary of State or who are the licensed massage therapists. And you could get, I presume you could find their tax records of who's filed that as a profession in Roswell. You know, there's legality, there's a governing board, there's a board in Macon, I forgot what their responsibility is. You could have consulted a board of directors, for different licensed governing boards. But this seems really black and white. That, I'm a dental hygienist over 40 years, and years ago when people were afraid to go to the dentist, we always had our license, and the dentist used to put it out more in exposure, and it's gotten calmer now, not to look egocentric or something. But there are state licensing board, and the state Secretary of State has the publication for their renewal every year to show their active license. It's just so simple. I don't see, and then you would put that in the leases of the owners leasing to a massage therapy service. Their state license.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else from the public, from the community? All right, bringing it back to council. Any other last questions, concerns? Council? Okay. Let me see where we are. All right, Councilmember Hills, do you have a motion?
First, one point of clarification.
Sure.
City Attorney Davidson, you took good notes on what was just brought up from public that we can address in between. You can rewind.
I usually like to read the minutes.
Perfect.
Go through
I just
the
want to be
tape.
sure that we have the opportunity to review that between
Yes.
this first reading and, of course, second reading.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Mayor Pro Tem Northland, may I go ahead, or do we have any? Thank you. Motion to approve a text amendment to Article 4.4, massage establishments and spas of the Code of Ordinances to the City of Roswell. This is the first reading, but not the final.
Do I have a second? Councilmember Johnson. All those in favor? Very good. Unanimous vote. And last, City Attorney Davidson, will you read your last item?
Thank you. My last item is recommendation for closure to discuss personnel litigation and real estate.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Beeson. All those in favor? Here we go. Unanimous. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and look forward to seeing you soon.